And welcome, here we are, another CB200 video. This time we are focusing on the tachometer. So with the speedometer progressing, I thought I'd crack on with this. So here we go, heat gun set up, melt the edges, open up the frame and get the unit out from inside. Here we go. Okay, remembering that it's going to be hot. Let's get in and remove the plate. Okay. Oh, there we are. Cool. So there are, don't know how well you'll be able to make out. These are the tubes that the lights go in for the neutral and the turn signal. So you've got this shaft that then goes to this rubbery bit, which does appear to be glued to the face. Yeah, there does appear to be some glue on that, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to tease this part off the shaft when I take this plate off. So just teasing with that. Okay, let's try and take the plate off. Right, let's go this way. So it's still fairly hot, so I might actually, you know what, I'm going to be sensible. I'm going to let this cool down and we'll come back. So it's cooled down enough that I can hold it, so let's in there. Okay, and in there. Okay, so that's now okay. There we are. That's not in a good way. Right, so we'll get that in the deoxy. So this is now so bad that actually not a lot of movement. Okay, so that's going to need cleaning. Take these little rubbery bits off. So let's get the needle off. Let's get the needle off first. Okay, I think a good a gentle scrub with some fairy liquid, and that hopefully will clean up okay. There we are, tachometer. So very similar to the speedometer part, but what's happened is that all the rust from the base plate is actually stuck to what is in fact a magnet in there. So I'm going to need to try and get, I don't particularly want to start stripping that down. This is pressed into that, so I can't do anything with that. Taking this off and then this off will just possibly free this up, but I'm not sure that's going to work. So I think some white spirit and the ultrasonic on this one. Let's get set up for that. So I've just had the main body through the ultrasonic for a bit. Well, that helped a little bit clean things up just generally. But one problem we have got is that we've got a lot of residue, rust residue actually on the magnet in there. So one thought I had was to get another magnet and try and pull those bits off in there. But then actually the easiest way of doing it is to put it in the deoxy, which will, as it were, dissolve the rust away, he says, hopefully. So that's where it's going. It's going to go in the deoxy. In fact, actually, I'm going to move everything into this tub, and so I can keep it in a bowl of hot water, and then that will actually probably all fit in there. So let's just chuck it in there. Let's clean it off first. Try and get rid of some of this white spirit, and then we'll put it in here and we'll leave it all to de-rust, and come back and check it out later on. So I've cleaned up the face. I'm going to go scan that now, ready for hopefully getting the new faces made. I hope. We'll see. We'll see. Bits still in there need to be cleaned. And then over in here we've got the main base plate de-rusting, and I've also put the actual mechanism. So I've got quite a bit of that rust off already on there, a magnet in there, and I've taken another magnet to it to try and get a bit more off, but I don't want to put the magnets all together in case it might affect anything. I'm having to hold it up because there's this piece here which one would assume would be aluminium. I don't know, it's alloy. And you're not supposed to put things like zinc, lead, tin, and alloys containing those metals into deoxy. So I'm holding that up a bit out of there in the hope that that's not too badly affected. Bubbles are forming, and yeah, this base plate is in quite poor condition, quite a few holes, quite a bit of rust. So we'll see what we can say from that. But I suppose we're going really sort of, reasonably well. The body is inside. I've washed that now, and I've brassoed the lens. I'll go brasso the lens again. I do want input and some guidance advice, if you can, if you'd be so kind. Is this kind of glue that they've used, it's sort of a rubbery glue. These are holding these sort of lenses in, but I also need the glue to hold the baffle on the speedometer, and then the same kind of glue for holding in these pieces. These are the bits that sort of go over that and line up with the lights going in. So if you know of a suitable glue that bonds metal to metal, plastic to metal and so on, that stays quite rubbery when it's all set, I'd love to get your comments below. Please do help out if you can. Anyway, I will update with progress as we go through, but I think for now, we'll leave this video there. I hope you're finding this little delve into the speedometer and tachometer useful. It's been a bit scary, as I've said beforehand, but we're getting there. we're getting there. I suppose the proof is in the pudding when we put it back together again. I am chatting with some companies to see whether we can make some new faces, and I'll keep you updated with that probably in the next couple of videos. Inside do seem to have now dissolved at least the majority of the rust that was sat on the magnet in here, and it's now been drying for a good day or so. I need to get in there and clean up. So yeah, we've got this kind of white residue, so I need to clean that up, etc. But the unit is feeling much better. It's working, it's moving, so that's looking pretty good. So I'm pretty impressed with that. Got some decoloration of the mild steel, but that's normal for DLC. If you put good material in there, you do get this kind of surface coating, but it should just brush off. There we are, with a wire brush, if you're particularly concerned about that sort of coloration. So I might give that a bit of a clean up, but that's looking really good. The other part of the tachometer, well, it's been sat now in deoxy for about 5 days, 4 or 5 days, and to say it finally got all the rust off it, but it's not looking in good shape. So major rust, corrosion, etc. Lots of holes in it, all the way around there. So I'm going to clean it up, dry it off, etc. And then I'm going to put some of the Built Hamber zinc paint on it. So that's this Electrox. I think this looks really good stuff. Let me get just grab the speedometer back unit. So that's looking really nice. So that I painted 4 or 5 days ago. So again, it had a little bit of pitting in it, etc., but nowhere near as much as the tachometer. So that I'm going to leave for another couple of days, and then I'll probably put a top coating of like probably some black enamel or something on that. But yeah, that's looking really good. So I'm going to dry this up. I'm going to give that a bit of a rub down and a tidy up, etc., and then probably a lubricate while this dries off in the sun, and then we'll get some of this zinc anti-corrosion paint on it. So to lubricate the mechanism, the only thing I can really think of is to use some of this anti-friction dry P8ii stuff. I don't want something in there that's particularly oily or messy, etc. So yeah, so I think that would be probably the best thing to use. Maybe a bit of 3-in-1. Yeah, I think I'll put a bit of 3-in-1 down there. I'll give it a spray with this. So I'll leave this to dry for a bit. Let the solvents evaporate. Hopefully leaving behind some good lubrication. There we are. I'm also actually going to put some ACF 50 on the spring as well while I'm here. Leave that to do its thing. Right, I've got it all mashed up. I've decided not to take the light tubes off. The glue is fairly good set on there. It's fairly clean, and I'm gonna risk it. I'm not going to take those tubes off, etc. So I'm just masking off the light wells. So we'll mask this up, and then we'll paint. So there we are, first coat of the Bilthamber Electrox. Goes on quite nicely, leaves quite a thick coating on there. So the instructions are to first coat, and then you need to leave it at least 2 hours before you can put a second coat on, but not before 3 hours. So I've got between 2 and the second and third hour to give it another paint. So I'll let this dry and then I'll give it another coat. And when it's dried, it dries to this slightly sort of matte finish. It does talk about leaving it 96 hours before you consider giving it any other kind of coating. So this one I'm going to leave for another couple of days drying, and then I can give it another coat. But that one's looking really good for the Speedo. It's the tachometer body that's back piece that's not looking at all good. I'm wondering whether I should, you know, fiberglass it, body filler it. I really don't know. So I'm gonna look at that. I might end up just leaving it as it is. At least it will drain properly, I suppose, is one positive way to look at it. Anyway, that's a quick update for where we are right now. It's not the rebuilding that I thought it might be. I am looking at having new faces made for the speedometer and tachometer, so investigating that. So maybe in the next video we'll be able to start looking at putting it all back together again. But in essence, they're both stripped, they're both cleaned, they're being painted, etc. And I'll record bits and bobs as we go forward, and hopefully at some point in the not too distant future we can look at actually putting it all back together again. So there you go, that was a sort of not so quick update of where we are with the Speedo and Tacho for the Honda CB200. Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're finding it useful, and yeah, do consider subscribing, hit the bell notification to be updated of future uploads. Do hit the thumbs up, really helps on the videos, and of course leave your comments below. But cheers, thanks for watching, and bye.